Hello, Mrs. Gray here. So I'm going to talk about the learning for week 3. Our learning this week has been inspired by The Tiger Who Came to Tea. I'm just going to share the learning with you on the screen. Okay, so The Tiger Who Came to Tea, and the author is Judith Kerr. So once again, this week, please don't forget that play is a very, very important of your part of your children's learning, and it contributes greatly to their development. So remember to follow their own interests as well as popping in, dipping into our planning. If you have any observation you'd like to share with us, anything you've done with your child, any pictures or anything, please put them on the Evidence Me app. We'd love to see them. Okay, so this week, our phonics. The phonics has a video to go with it each day that will go through the slides. We haven't posted the slides this week as you've got Miss Wild going through each set of slides with you. So for Monday, the phonic phoneme is E, the digraph, and we're now revisiting the digraphs to embed them with your child. It's also introducing the tricky word his. Your child will need a paper and a pencil for that day. Tuesday, we're revisiting the digraph or, and once again, your paper and pencil is needed, and the children will also be introduced to the tricky word has. On Wednesday, there's a film that is embedding the digraph ng, and once again, there's a new tricky word there, and that's as, and a paper and pencils needed. And then on Thursday, we've got qua, and we're revisiting the new tricky words we've introduced for the week, his, has, and as. Child will need a paper and pencil again. And then on Friday, it's a bit of a fun and revision of tricky words. There's a bingo game there. There are some bingo cards that you will need to print off, or you can just copy one of the bingo cards from the sheet that's in the resources folder. Have fun with that and enjoy. So then we're moving on to general reading. We've added some links to some free ebooks that you can use with your child to read. These books you can read with your child, taking turns, using the picture cues, using the story cues to help your child decode the words. Just if they're not sure of the words, ask them to sound them out, particularly the 3-letter words, the CVC words, and then blend the letters back together. So there's a couple of sites there that you can visit to find some reading books. So as I said, the learning this week is inspired by The Tiger Who Came to Tea. There are some links to the stories there. There is the stories that the teachers have recorded in this folder, and there is also a link on YouTube to another retelling, and then there are some fun things as well. There's the story told with signs, with the Makaton signing. There's the story and 2 songs of the story. And each time, if you explore with your child about how what the tiger did next, what happened at the end, did he go back to his family? Why does the children think he went to that family for tea, and so on. So the writing this week, the first part of the writing is exploring healthy lunch boxes and which foods are healthy and unhealthy. And there's a link there to an espresso film and game where you can look at foods that are healthy and unhealthy and discuss that what the difference between them. And then going on from that, on a piece of paper, if your child could just design a healthy lunch, maybe just draw them a quick oblong there, and they can put in what they would like for a healthy lunch, and you can discuss with them what constitutes a healthy lunch and what isn't a healthy lunch. And then if you add very, very brief labels, remembering your child will need a little bit of support maybe to sound out the words and write them down. So the next part of the next writing task is looking at the menu that Sophie and her family saw at the cafe when they went for their tea, went for their supper. And the children can then be encouraged to design their own menu. Maybe they can think about what their favourite food is, what they would like to have on a menu. You could explore what a menu looks like, and then they could decorate it around the outside. And they could then role play that with their toys at home, setting up a little cafe and using the menu there. And then finally, it's just a thank you card that we're just imagining that Tiger might have sent a thank you card to Sophie and her family. And they can design the front of it and then have a think about a sentence that they might write inside it to say, thanks for having me, or something like, oh, I really enjoyed my tea, or something like that. So have fun with that. So the handwriting this week is the zigzag letter family. All these letters have straight edges. Okay, now we're not expecting them children to write it on with paper and pen. If they would like to, that's absolutely fair enough. But if you would like to use your imaginations and doing it a little bit differently, maybe with a little bit of flour on the side and write it with their finger in there. It could be with paintbrush and water somewhere. They could do it if you've got a bit of an outside space and you have some chalk, maybe do some great big letters in some chalk. Anyway, so the first letter we're doing is Z, Z, and the idea is that they go, it's a small letter and they start at the top, they go across, slope, and go back across. So it's start at the top, go across, slope, go back across. The next letter is the V, the V. Okay, once again, we say it's a small letter and they start at the top, slope down, slope back up, and then there's a small lead out. Okay, we do encourage the children to make sure that that lead out is small. So once again, it starts at the top, straight down, slope down, straight back up again, and a small lead out. The next letter is the W, the W, and once again, it's a small letter, and you start at the top, and it's very straight. So it starts at the top, slope down, and slope back up, slope down, slope back up, and a small lead out. So it starts at the top, slope down, and slope back up, slope down, slope back up, and lead out. And then the final letter for this week is an X, X. And once again, the thing about an X, it's encouraging the children to making sure that they stand up tall and straight, because they do tend to sort of flop over a little bit, and making sure that the lines are really straight. So once again, we say it's a small letter. So we start at the top, slope, lift. So we lift the pen off and slope. So start at the top, slope, lift, and slope. And then if you're doing a little bit every day and you need a little bit of a challenge for a Friday, then it's just revisiting and practicing the letters that they've learnt during the week. And that is the zigzag family. Okay, so the maths learning this week is about height. So it's talking about measuring and asking your children what they know about measuring, and then talking about height and explaining that it's the vertical as opposed to the horizontal, the length of things. So we're talking about the vertical. So to begin with, the first session is just using the language and comparison. So it's using the child modeling, you modeling the language to the child, and then them maybe finding other things that they can measure themselves against. So it might be, first of all, they measure themselves against you, and then you model the language. I am taller than you. You are shorter than me, and then ask them to repeat it back with the correct terminology. And then maybe they can find other things. They might find other family members, or it might be other things that you have that are tall in your house. The next session continues with height, and it's about the children collecting some toys from around the house and then using, putting them in height order from shortest to tallest, and then once again modeling the language. There are some examples in the planning. And then the final session, there's once again, there's a clip from about height there, and it's again modeling the language. So during the maths this week, we're just talking about and modeling the language and getting the children to explore height. There's a link there for the Real PE that I hope you've all been accessing. Obviously, there are you don't need to necessarily use the Real PE. You might be going out for a walk every day, or you might be looking at the Joe Wicks videos or things like that. And then finally, there's some other areas that you can just explore with your child about the tiger who came to tea. There's a link to a yoga session that's inspired by the book. Then there's also, once again, thinking about our golden values and thinking about how the children would use the golden values if a tiger came to visit them in their house. The Tiger Who Came to Tea was obviously written quite a while ago and has some interesting stereotypes that you might like to explore with your child and how things have changed. And then finally, it's looking at tigers and writing some facts about tigers and researching different things that they might know about them. I know the children really enjoy that, and there's a link there to a site that has lots of tiger facts. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope you have lots and lots of fun with your learning. Enjoy your week 3, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.